Getting the job you want when you work in the mining industry, or any industry, can be challenging. There's resumes to prepare and cover letters. Do we even need cover letters anymore? Let alone preparing and performing for the job interview itself. Should I include a photo in my resume? What should I wear if I get an interview? How do I answer all of the challenging questions they're going to ask? How do I showcase my experience if I'm a graduate? These are just some of the questions people have when they are facing interviews in their native language. Needless to say, the anxiety and pressure is really on when you have to do this in English, if English is your second or third or fourth language. But we're mining industry professionals. We know how to perform well in times of pressure. It's what we do every day. We're problem solvers. So what do we do when we're faced with a problem in the field? We do our research. We collect data. We put our emotions to one side and use logic to find the best solution to the issue. Will it be a perfect solution first time? Probably not. But we'll review the changes and continue to make improvements until we get the outcome we're looking for. And getting the job you want in English is exactly the same process. So let's start at the start, the research phase. The good news is that getting a job follows a pretty standard formula. There's writing a resume and preparing a cover letter to get a job interview. Now, I'm not covering this part in this program as I'm limited to a 3-session podcast, and this topic is huge. This program is focused on the job interview process itself. But if you need a deep dive into resumes and cover letters, as well as the interview process, I do have an online course available that you can do with this called How to Secure and Skillfully Navigate Job Interviews in English. You can find a link to it in the description for this podcast. So how do we start preparing for the job interview in English? Have you done many interviews before? If you have, you may have noticed that the structure is always very similar. It's usually broken down into 3 sections: the introduction section, the technical questions section, and then the closing section. Each section has a different focus and a different style of question. I like to think of it in the form of time. The introduction section is the present. Who are you? Who are you now? It's the getting to know you stage. The next section, and often the longest section, is the past. What have you done before? What skills do you have now because of the experiences you had before? What have you learned? The last stage is the closing stage, and this is focused on the future. What salary are you looking for? What future goals do you have? What questions do you have for us about what this job might look like for you? Present, past, future. In the rest of this podcast episode, we'll explore the introduction. It's often a quick section and it can be overlooked as quite routine. But this section is key to a successful outcome. Why is that? Well, there's no denying that first impressions matter. People tend to form quick judgments based on initial interactions. This is known as the halo effect. A positive first impression can positively influence how everything else about you is perceived. If you make some mistakes in your answers later on, if you are struggling to find the right words sometimes, they'll help you out a little, or maybe even a lot. The halo effect. The way you handle the introduction stage also demonstrates your ability to navigate new social situations, which is critical in most workplaces. And handling the initial moments of an interview well indicates how you might perform under pressure, because we all know too well just how stressful interviews can be. But an often overlooked aspect of first impressions is how your own impression of your performance can either build your confidence and help you find your groove, or leave you stressed and undermine your confidence, often throughout the entire interview. The best news for you, you already know what the first question is going to be. Tell me a little bit about yourself. A well-prepared, natural and effective answer here will buy you the time to relax, take in everything around you, while sounding professional and leaving the right first impression. Exactly what should be included and what should be left out will be dependent on the culture of the interview you are attending. For example, in the West, we don't include many personal details, if any. I always choose to include a couple because I feel it makes me more of a person, and that can really help to form a connection with the interviewers. But some people choose to exclude all personal details as they feel it's unprofessional. It's just a matter of personal preference. But the opposite was true in my experience of interviewing candidates in Malaysia. It was expected to include a summary of your personal situation, in a professional way, of course, to ensure that you showed your openness and honesty. If a candidate left this information out, the interviewers would actively seek it by asking questions. Listen to the following examples to highlight the difference.
Thanks for taking the time to join us for this interview today. My name is John, and with me is Anna.
Hi.
And Mark.
Great to meet you.
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
First of all, thanks for inviting me to interview for this position. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm Kirsten. I'm currently a metallurgist at Somewhere Resources, leading a team of 5 technicians in our mineral processing plant. My focus here is on optimizing gold and copper recovery processes. I've been in the mining industry for over 4 years now, starting right after I earned my metallurgical engineering degree from XYZ University. During this time, I've improved gold recovery rates by optimizing the flotation circuits, and I've also been able to complete an additional certification in advanced mineral processing. I'm now looking to take on new challenges and contribute my expertise to a larger scale operation, which is why I'm particularly excited about this opportunity with your company.
Thanks for taking the time to join us for this interview today. My name is John, and with me is Anna.
Hi.
And Mark.
Great to meet you.
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
First of all, thanks for inviting me to interview for this position. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm Kirsten. I'm currently a metallurgist at Somewhere Resources, leading a team of 5 technicians in our mineral processing plant. My focus here is on optimizing gold and copper recovery processes. I've been in the mining industry for over 4 years now, starting right after I earned my metallurgical engineering degree from XYZ University. During this time, I've improved gold recovery rates by optimizing the flotation circuits, and I've also been able to complete an additional certification in advanced mineral processing. I'm now looking to take on new challenges and contribute my expertise to a larger scale operation, which is why I'm particularly excited about this opportunity with your company. On a personal note, I'm an avid rock climber, which I find complements my professional life, although as a new mum, I don't get a chance to get out as often as I would like to just now. Rock climbing has taught me a lot about risk assessments, problem solving, and the importance of teamwork, skills that I bring to my work every day. And I look forward to the time when I can get back into it more with the whole family. These answers are obviously theoretical and highly simplified, but they illustrate some of the principles I mentioned earlier. And did you notice one little trick? The format of my answer mirrored the format of the interview. I used the same framework of present, I am currently, past, I have been, and future, and now I am interested in. It keeps your answer simple, focused, and leaves the right impression. Why don't you try it for yourself? If you have joined this month's speaking program, we will practice together, and I can help to address any concerns you have with your English. If you haven't joined this month, you can still follow along on your own. Watch out for the next episode when I will explore the second stage of the interview, discussing previous work experiences.